I go live in 5. What is up? David Miller's in the house. Brandon and David Miller of D. Miller Designs decided to stop in today. He's our second favorite fan, or second super fan, not second favorite fan. He's our second super fan. What's going on?
The show, he has to be number 1.
Well, now he's number 1, but we're going to have to put David Franklin on the show next then.
I'm just happy to know that David Franklin's alive.
It was kind of scary there for a while because we hadn't heard from him. He went dark. And I have a question from him that I forgot to listen to. So,
all right.
It came in late today. It came in late today, so we might have to use it for next week's show.
Nah.
We'll try and Bluetooth the phone to the podcast studio, and we can listen to it together when it's time.
Sure.
All right. I'm Mike Morazzo. That's Brandon Silvera. That's David Miller. This is episode 35. It doesn't have a name except the David Miller
Brandon
Experience.
Crawford episode. It's the Brandon Crawford episode.
Oh, is he number 35?
Yes. Number 1 in your hearts.
Oh, you know what? I'd have to bounce that because I just remembered Frank Thomas was number 35. He's a Hall of Famer. So this would be the Frank Thomas episode.
Big hurt.
And the Brandon Crawford.
You see what I was talking about there with the unilateral decision thing? I have an idea. I come up with something. Mike, no, we're doing this.
You beat me to the punch.
We are doing this. I have decided it. We are doing it.
You beat me to the punch. So it is the Brandon Crawford episode. Hopefully Brandon Silvera can get Brandon Crawford on the show one day. Let's see how that goes.
That'd be dope. I just want to hang out with the guy. Actually, no, I take that back. I don't because I'm already pretty ugly, but you put me next to that and I go from like a solid 5 down to like 2.
You gave yourself a 5. That's pretty impressive.
Well,
it was a solid 5.
I'm a solid 5. Solid 5. That's
so
average.
If David is a Rams fan, are you also a Dodger fan or an Angels fan?
I will never be a Dodger fan. Dodger fans are horrible. So I'm a Padre fan for life.
Okay.
Saying that is very hard. There's been some trials and tribulations, but another season coming up, so we'll see.
Where are you located in California?
I'm in Temecula, which is about an hour out of downtown San Diego. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, I work in San Diego, so I'm there pretty much every day.
So, David, tell everyone what you do on a normal basis other than your killer woodworking stuff.
So I am a union electrician, and I run a company. I help run a company with a bunch of great people called Neil Electric, and we're a union contractor based out of San Diego. So we do commercial, a lot of military, a lot of hospitals, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see the military tie-in. Isn't that the large base down there, right?
Several. You have Camp Pendleton for the Marines. You have Miramar. There's a lot of Navy bases down there. So, yeah.
Is that where the Top Gun school is?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe out of Miramar, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever been there?
That's where the Top Gun house is. It's in Oceanside. They actually just picked it up and moved it because they built a big resort. So they actually picked the whole house up and moved it down the street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for those people that own that house.
I know, right?
Seriously.
So you don't have any bad weather ever, right? That's why you're always so happy. It's because of the weather that you're in every day.
Well, it was like 73 today, so that's why.
Oh God!
It was we had a brisk wind, so yeah, it was rough, but we got through it.
I'm looking at my phone. It's currently 5 degrees where I'm at, with a negative 20 wind chill.
Yeah, that's not okay.
No, it's not at all.
Having experienced all of that in North Dakota, this is better. Like way better.
My son's coming home today from LA, actually. I drove him to the airport Thursday morning, and him and a buddy went out there.
What did you do to get stuck going to LA for?
He wanted to get out of the 5-degree temperature, so he just took a 4-day trip to LA to go see the beaches and go to Hollywood. And
see the homeless people?
Well, he can see that here. Do
your homeless people get to poop on the street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our homeless people get to poop on the street.
But then they get to cover it up with snow at this time of year. So no one really sees it.
Some of our homeless people burn it.
They burn the poop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure I like that.
No, every morning in downtown San Diego is a big truck, and it just goes through like a fire hose, and it just sanitizes all the streets. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's serious?
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's horrible.
I never heard that before about the poop sanitizing job.
Yeah.
I bet those guys are happy though, because it's San Diego.
It's a good union job.
Yeah, I'd say. God bless those guys.
Hey,
I know, right?
Hey, it's a paycheck with benefits.
My son sent me a picture of he was standing over Stan Lee's star, which was very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then of course he sent me a picture with the Hollywood sign behind him and a beach somewhere, which looks amazing. So I don't think he actually wants to come home, but my wife's actually going to pick him up because I have to record this podcast. So I was supposed to pick him up, but I said, "Honey, I'll be doing the show. I can't pick him up." So she's got to go.
I have responsibilities. It's not that I don't want to go.
I can't.
I just can't.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. So you work Monday through Friday, David?
Yeah. So I usually I'll leave the house about 4:30 and I'll get home about 4:30, 5 o'clock around there.
Okay. And I was a proud member of the IBEW for 11 years myself. Worked for Commonwealth Edison, which is our electric company out here.
Nice.
And then I left to be the police officer. And then I went back to the company in a management role. I love the company and hope to go back when I'm retired from the police department, just to go back to that company because it's been so good to me. But I see your sticker behind you, and I actually have the same sticker on my lunchbox. Still have it after all these years. Right next to my Handcuffs and Sawdust podcast.
I may not have ever been an official electrician, but I have electrocuted myself at least 3 times.
Well, it sounds like you're qualified.
Yeah, but only 3 times. I don't know.
Not to toot my own horn. Well, one of them was on 220, so I figured that counts as 4.
Okay.
That counts.
That one sucked.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that. No, you can keep all that shit. And Brandon, I see that you have your Peloton supply cabinet hanger wall thing behind you.
Photos have been taken, and it will be going up on Etsy soon.
So for something that cost you of like 13 cents to make, how much are you going to sell that for?
Mike, that's an awfully personal question. And for the record, that cost me no money to make. That's all scrap wood.
There you go. It's going to be a $250 profit right off the bat.
Yeah. But no, I figured it out. I can make one of these out of a quarter sheet of plywood and still have a little bit left over.
Okay. I've got a bunch of that laying around. What kind of stain did you use for that?
I just used the, Minwax, or no, it was Varathane's dark walnut.
Dark walnut.
And my wife absolutely loves that color. So anytime I make her something and ask her what color she wants to stain, she's walnut.
So you didn't make that shelf up there out of dark walnut?
No.
Okay.
This was actually taken from the garage.
Okay.
And
repurposed.
In what was my son's room because he needed a shelf. As you can see, the shelf is still there with his stuff on it.
Yeah.
I think it's a Buster Posey bobblehead. Yeah.
Buster Posey. Okay.
Posey.
You know, David, your team.
Very sad that he retired.
Oh, so he's done now.
Yes.
He's officially retired.
He's officially retired.
I didn't know that.
We are officially entering the Joey Bard era.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know yet.
Okay, get back to me in June. I'll be able to tell you. I mean, he's not throwing anybody out and can't hit his weight. I'm sure he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. It's fine. We're fine.
We're fine. Everything's fine. David, your team.
No, it's coming in a little squeaky because it's fine.
It's fine. David, your team knocked out the Cubs in '84, and I've hated them since.
Good old Ryan Sandberg days, huh?
Yeah, and the Leon Durham through the legs ball, and Steve Garvey hitting a fucking home run, rounding the bases with that Popeye arm up in the air. Can't stand it.
Hey, we made it like 10 minutes before our first F-bomb.
That's pretty good.
We're getting better.
So I was telling you in the pre-show that I went to my buddy Greg's house, and he's recorded a song for me many years ago. And I wanted to play the theme song of this show for him so he could hear the difference. So I just brought up last week's episode, and the teaser at the beginning of the episode before the music is me, and I dropped an F-bomb within like 3 seconds. And he goes, "You guys swear on your podcast?" I'm like, "Hey, man, we're keeping it real. It's the police. Yeah, we swear."
I can't control it. It's all I can do to not swear in front of my kids.
But we have made
sometimes I screw that up.
Yeah, we've made a conscious effort to not say it so much. But anyways, so I didn't have much work this week. I had one day, and which we'll get into. But you took your birthday off, which was Wednesday. Today's Sunday. And then
a very good day to take off.
It was a good day for you to take off. And it's funny when I come back to work, if I'm off for a long period of time, or even if I'm off for my 2 days off and I come back and my buddies will be like the other shift, hey, they did this or they did that. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm not there. So usually when I take off, some big shit happens. And you were talking about that. So how did your week go?
We talked about it last week. My wife was getting over what we suspect was the COVID. And then my oldest daughter caught it. So she was feeling kind of crummy on Tuesday. So I took that day off to help take care of her while the wife's still recovering. And then I had my birthday off. So, didn't get wrapped up in the officer involved shooting we had at work, and then came back and only worked a half week. So, but we still managed to respond to a stabbing that I am convinced the lady stabbed herself. She did it herself because, and I gotta give her a little bit of credit because she fully committed. She went like 4 or 5 stab wounds. She even went for the headshot.
She stabbed herself in the head.
Yes, in the face. Now you can tell she pulled her punch. She was like, she saw the knife come, was like, this is stupid, and then like kind of stopped it a little late. But we're trying to figure out who did it. Yeah, it's my ex-boyfriend, so and so, and for whatever reason, we cannot find any record of this dude who's supposed to have some sort of criminal history. So we should be able to have a record of him. So finally, we get it figured out, and in our little system, it shows in custody. Now, sometimes that system is a little messed up. So someone went the extra mile and actually called county jail and said, hey, what about this guy? Yeah, he's in this particular cell block. So she tried to blame a guy that is currently in jail.
Maybe she got her baby daddies mixed up.
It's possible.
Did she have baby daddies?
I'm sure she does. But she is certified.
I'm sure she does.
I mean, you don't get to be where that lady is in life without having at least one baby daddy.
So how big of a knife was she using?
I don't know. We never found the knife. But her story was, dude tried to sell her heroin. She was like, no, I don't want the heroin, even though I'm the heroin addict. And then apparently he got in his car, jumped out, stabbed her 4 times, and yelled, Norte! And then
wait, what did he yell?
What did he say?
Norte. So that's apparently, like, I don't know why. I don't get this. And I understand gangsters pretty much. They have this uncontrollable urge to yell, like norteños, to yell Norte when they do something. And she was adamant. He yelled Norte, which is north or northerner.
Okay.
Which in the part of town I work is the primary gang that is out there. But she was very adamant about that fact. She's like, he yelled Norte and then he stabbed me. This is gang related. Nobody cares. You stabbed yourself. Stop it.
Wait, I thought she was blaming the guy in prison, like Hannibal Lecter stabbed me. But wait, he's behind a 4-foot thick glass with holes in it, so it couldn't have been him.
So our working theory is if the guy did it, he Shawshanked his way out, shanked her, and then Shawshanked back in.
It went back in, yeah.
A lot of shanking going on.
Yeah.
Shawshank out, shank, and shank back in.
If you can work in the word shank into a sentence and have it not be weird, you do it. 3
times.
I'm pretty proud of myself.
So tell us about the shooting. I know you weren't there, but it's pretty big news.
Yeah, so I have to separate what I know from what's been released.
Yeah. And I'm gonna text you some pictures of the shitheads I was chasing, just so you know.
Okay. And then when we stop recording, I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
So apparently, officers were alerted to a stolen vehicle. Our helicopter.
Sorry, was it a carjacking or just a steal of a vehicle that was unoccupied?
Initially, it was just a stolen vehicle. So it was like LoJack or something like that, some sort of notification.
Okay.
Our air unit picks up the car because we have that resource, Mike.
I know, I hate you.
And the helicopter, which I swear to God, its camera is like 4K, just follows it around, goes into a neighboring city, views this guy get out and attempt to carjack another person with a firearm. That carjacking does not go well.
How so?
He was unsuccessful. I don't know how he was unsuccessful.
Okay.
So he gets back in his original car and goes, well, the jig is up. I mean, he's going to obviously call the police. So he takes off like a bat out of hell. Our helicopter, great thing about helicopters is there is no traffic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Great. They don't have to just dodge other planes and shit.
Yeah. So they're just putting along, following in with the camera, putting out updates to the ground units that are kind of like in the area. So, you know, I'm not going to get into the tactic of it in case maybe a heads-up crook is listening.
Right.
I think the odds of that are pretty slim, but either way. But they're putting it out to ground units so at least we can be aware of what's going on.
Okay.
He ends up causing a major traffic collision. Hops out of the car, cranks off 2 rounds, or I don't know if it was 2, but cranks off multiple rounds at a responding officer, who then engages. He takes off running, encounters additional officers, engages them, and lost the gunfight.
Good.
So all officers are fine.
Thank God.
The other motorists that were involved in the traffic collision are fine. I think mild to moderate injuries is what we heard, but
okay, good.
Yeah.
Innocents are okay.
Yes.
All right.
And he had a fairly extensive criminal history and had like 6 felonies.
No, he didn't. Stop. Those people aren't on the street, dude. That's just fucking lies.
I know he promised that he wouldn't do that stuff anymore, but he was still doing that stuff.
Yeah, because they promise all they want, but then they never actually hold on to that promise. David, I sent you pictures to your email of the guys I'm going to talk about.
Gotcha.
So did you have your rookie? Did you have your rookie with the stabbing?
No, so they rotated back to their primary FTOs.
Okay, so now you're rookie-less.
Yeah, so now I'm on my own. I have my car back, which is nice.
Woo! Such a great feeling, isn't it? It's like it's all Brandon time for 10 hours.
I can do what I want. If I want to go over here and actually go into a gang neighborhood, I can do that. And I don't have to look and wonder, like, why are you driving away from this place?
Yeah.
I know it's scary, but we get paid to go there. We get paid a decent amount of money.
Yeah, it's nice to have. I love, as much as I love training, I think I've told you before, the best feeling is when training's over and you get your car back.
Oh, and you know what? It's really nice. It's really nice to not be lost all the time.
Yeah. Well, didn't you? I don't know. This is a trick I do with when he's driving the trainee. I would just yell, stop, emergency stop, whatever, and then just ask him, where are you? What do you mean? Like, what street, 100 block in direction are you traveling? Oh, I don't know. Fuck, thank God I'm not getting shot at. You don't have to call for help.
My guy would get so turned around that he would drive away from calls.
Maybe that was a plan.
Dude, I don't want to say that maybe that was the case, but maybe that was the case.
Maybe that was the case. You never know. Well, he's going to be a CSO soon, so you won't have to worry about him backing you up on any calls.
Maybe, as long as his primary FTO continues to document his dumbassery.
Yeah, so you had a relatively quiet week.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, other than the stabbing, but that was, it wasn't like at any point we thought she was going to die.
That's good. Although it would have lessened the burden on the public system.
No, dude, because that came out at the end of shift.
Oh yeah,
that would have been rough. I wouldn't have gotten home till 5 or 6, and I'm done with that.
That's not good.
I like getting home at 2:30, 3 o'clock
in the morning.
Yes.
So
eat my dinner.
Okay.
Watch my YouTube while I'm eating my dinner, and then go to bed.
Okay, then you go to bed. All right. Sounds like you have it all figured out.
I'm coming up with my own schedule. Dude, this is weird. After 3 years of midnights, I had a midnight rotation down, but now it's swing shifts. I'm still trying to figure that out as far as what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take you a while, I think.
I think I've got it.
Today I was looking at the sun coming up as I went upstairs to make dinner for myself. And I thought, man, wouldn't that be nice just to watch the sun come up? And I'm going to miss that. I really miss that. I can't wait to be able to sit down, grab a paper, start some coffee, and watch the sun come up one of these days.
As much as I enjoy a sunrise, I don't miss seeing them.
You don't miss seeing them?
No.
I don't know, man. All right. I don't know why you don't, but I do.
Well,
so, David.
I get to sleep while they're happening now.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather be sleeping at night and then get up in the morning, or no?
I do sleep at night and get up in the morning.
Okay.
It's just late night.
Okay.
Swing shift. Don't try to romanticize midnights.
Oh God, no!
Sucks.
I'm romanticizing day shift. That's what I'm romanticizing.
No, I don't like day shift. I like swings is my speed.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're happy there, and hopefully you'll have a long, prosperous career on that shift, and never get to see the sun come up again. Wait. What?
Wait, hold on. Are you wishing me death?
No, not at all.
Because it kind of sounded like you were wishing me death.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
I think you would.
As far as you know.
Yeah. Well, how was your one day at work?
It was nice to be short. It's funny. I go to work. I took off because we work 12-hour shifts. We're supposed to get flex time, which is they owe us. We work 88 hours in a pay period, and they owe us 8 hours off. So you can take that time off as 1 8-hour block and then pair it with 4 hours of time due, or personal time or vacation time. Or you can take a block of 4 and a block of 4, but then you're going into work 2 8-hour shifts. So I always just take the day off. I'm at the point where I don't need to be there any extra than I already am. So I had Wednesday off for flex time. So when I went in Thursday, I had no podcast stuff to do because that was already launched, right? Wednesday night, the podcast episode came out. So I was just going to edit the video portion and get that up and running. So usually I go find a nice parking lot, get my coffee, and then I start doing podcast stuff. So at 7:50, we start at 7 p.m. We actually get, 6:45, but 7 o'clock officially. So at like 7:10, I was on my way to get coffee, and we get the burglary call. A third party called and said someone entered her mom's house and was in the house like right now. So we just fly over there thinking I got a burglar in the house, and the first guy there, because I was already in the street on my way to get coffee. And I come up the driveway, gun out, come around the corner, there's a car in the driveway, run the plate, get to the back door, and then out comes the homeowner, scared the shit out of me. So
anyways, I started blasting.
So I started shooting, he took cover. So apparently his daughter had called from her home, which is a few blocks away, because mom called all upset. So 5 o'clock at night, mom and dad decide to leave their home and go to their daughter's a couple blocks away. So they leave at 5:15. They come home at like 5 to 7, and someone had kicked in their back door of the house. And these people, the burglars that went in, they have a raised ranch. So there's 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bathrooms, and then a full basement runs the whole length of the house with a kitchen and 3 more bedrooms down there and a laundry room, all finished. And these people didn't miss a drawer. They went in, they had to be at least a minimum of 2 guys, if not 3, opened every door, drawer. They took the sump pump. I don't know if you have sump pumps in California.
No, we have no need for that.
So you don't have basements. Okay.
No.
So
I wish. No.
Okay.
It would be nice to have, but there is no need for it.
It's nice to have until the sump pump goes out and your basement floods. So when I build my retirement home, no basement. But so they took the sump pump out, even the discharge pipe that comes out of the well. They tore that out, maybe looking under the cover for something if people hide money and stuff. And it's probably one of the worst burglaries I've seen. And I was trying to calm the daughter down because she shows up and then
in terms of
damage done.
Okay. So not worse as in terms of like, oh, these guys sucked at it.
Well, no, right. Worst as far as the damage to the homeowner. It's a good burglary for the burglars. The daughter's extremely pissed, and I can't figure out why. Because her parents had just been victimized. For God's sakes, just give them a break. But she's yelling at her mom and dad in Spanish. And then I'm like, hey, if you're going to keep that shit up, you got to go. Because I need to process the scene and take pictures and all that other stuff. And I don't need your parents. They're already upset. Well, apparently dad is a waiter. So dad gets a lot of cash tips. Dad keeps said cash tips in his house, in various envelopes, in various drawers, in various rooms, where the burglars found every single one of them and ended up getting it took him a while to tell me. He first told me one total, and he didn't seem like he was telling me the truth. And his son was there. His son came too. And I said, listen, your kids are already mad at you. It's not going to change, but I need to know exactly, what was taken. So they got over, and this is probably a low estimate because he didn't really want to tell me. They got over 20 grand in cash right off the bat. And then watches, rings, jewelry, stuff that's been in their family for generations. The wife had like 10 purses, like Michael Kors, Gucci, all that stuff. They just cleaned them out. And I felt so bad for these people. And within literally an hour and 50 minutes from the time they left their house to the time. And I'm like, okay, do you guys have cameras? Because almost everyone now is getting camera. No cameras. The guy down the street, we did a canvas. He's got a Ring doorbell, but it only goes on when you push the button. It's not one of the ones that's always goes on when motion.
Right. Well, and a lot of people will change the sensitivity of it because they're tired of cars driving by.
Right, and constantly going
I
on.
did the same thing, but in all honesty, you should leave it because you might catch the one car that we're actually looking for.
Yeah, and every time I go on a call like this, I go back to the station and I'm like, I'm going to get cameras. And then months go by and I still don't have cameras. But I worked on that case until just after 12:30 because I had to process the scene. No latent fingerprint evidence whatsoever. They used gloves. They kicked in the back door and used a pry bar. No shoe print on the door, nothing I could take. And then, so I go through every room, but they still have to go into every room and start going through shit because they got to give us a list, of what might also be missing. And they called me about 90 minutes later and said that they actually had recovered the crowbar that the bad guys used. So I sent Drew to go get it because I was, doing all the paperwork and stuff. So he shot over there and they said they gave it to him in a garbage bag, which is cool, but they picked it up with their bare hands, which wouldn't be a big problem. We could get elimination prints, but there was no prints on it at all. I dusted it. There's nothing on it.
So these guys are professional.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to buy a pair of gloves for 15 cents or whatever, and more people are
have the brains to actually put them on.
Well, and plus
it still amazes me that people don't do that.
Being 5 degrees out, most everyone's wearing gloves now, anyways. So
valid point.
They wouldn't look odd walking up the driveway with gloves and coats and hats on and stuff covering their face because that's what people are doing nowadays, especially out here. But that was it. I just had the burglary, and then I sent you pictures of the guys that we were chasing last week, and I was going to put them, I blurred out their faces, not for you guys, but because I was going to put them in the podcast, and I still think I shouldn't do that yet until they die, because I don't want them to get arrested. I want them to die. So I'm sorry if I offend anybody. So we're chasing these guys that last week, and then Thursday at work, the deputy chief came in at the beginning of our shift to talk about that case. So the detectives have done that work that I showed you. That was from their Facebook pages. These people to just post whatever they want on their Facebook page. And the deputy chief said, don't chase these people anymore. Because this is what they've got: AK-47s. They've got other ARs. All their Glocks in the pictures have extended mags. They will not hesitate.
All been shaved down to be full auto too.
Yeah, and they won't hesitate to just turn the weapon on you and shoot for a property crime that the insurance companies are going to end up paying for. And now, as much as I hate that, and not knowing when I was chasing that vehicle, the lead vehicle, which is in one of the pictures, the guy leaning up against the hood, that's the truck. They suspect it's a female that's the getaway driver, and she's got a Glock with an extended mag in her picture while she's holding all the money. I'm kind of glad that it didn't crash in front of me where I had to. We would have done a felony stop anyways, number of cars, but to have a rifle coming back at you, I think I'm close.
Looking at these pictures, I'm seeing a lot of skinny jeans. I'm thinking they're not about that life. If they get cornered, they're not gonna there probably ain't even bullets in them. Well,
I hope no officer has to find out. So we talked about that stuff. And then just driving around, my squad is in the shop. So David, our cars run for like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And
they get less than 10 miles a gallon.
Yeah. Oh, way less, like 4 or 5.
I think mine's at like 6.
Okay. And that was the argument when we were talking about going to SUVs from the Crown Vics. And the first argument for the brass was that SUVs get bad gas mileage. And I'm like, the Crown Vics get like 7 miles to the gallon because they're constantly running.
Yeah, but the Crown Vic can't tell you that.
Right. So
the SUV will tell you exactly how bad the gas mileage is.
Right. It tells you. But they get a lot of wear and tear, obviously. And we have 2 guys that run them. So I run it for 12 hours. Next guy comes on, he runs it for 12 hours, and then I come back and run, same cycle every day. So a lot of times we have cars out of service. So my car is out of service. In my car is my ET camera and my rifle and all the other shit. So I'm driving an old squad. So I'm driving around the other night, minding my own business, when a fucking visor falls off and hits me in the head. Like, what the? I was on a 45-mile-an-hour street in between the woods, and it just falls down and hits me in the face. I'm like, what the fuck?
I can top that.
Okay.
So I had a Crown Vic because my car was down last shift. And I'm driving to a shooting in a whole other part of the city. So I get to get on the freeway with the lights and sirens going, which means, and it's in the middle of the night. So, I mean, we're pushing it.
Yeah.
And I hit a bump. I think I was doing like 110 or something like that. The freaking rear view mirror popped off and smacked me in the forehead. So one of our new policies is that when you're running code 3, you have to have your camera running. So my buddy was behind me. He goes, dude, I'm going to pull up my camera footage. You can see your car jerk. I go, yeah. That's when the freaking rear view mirror came off and hit me in the face.
Where did it hit you?
In the face.
In the face.
The face. Oh. So I have some
CA glue for that.
Yeah, right.
I think that's how I fixed it.
There you go. I didn't know anything about CA glue until, I knew what crazy glue was, but not same thing, just different name. But I didn't know how many.
Right.
I didn't know how many practical uses are for it until I actually just CA'd my frames and my Oakley glasses because my lens kept popping out. So I finally did it the other night, and it works. It works great. I have
It's
cleanup.
duct tape.
It is the new duct tape, just for woodworkers. I have some notes because there's some housekeeping.
Wait, I'm sorry. We got to do our housekeeping.
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 Who's there? You want me to fluff your pillow? So last week when we were doing the dog thing, I told you I named my dog Peyton.
Yeah.
And then I said, come back to the next episode and I'll tell you why. And then we forgot.
So Walter Peyton.
It was a combination of 2 Peytons. Walter Peyton, because the greatest. And then, have you ever seen the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle?
I have, but it's been a long time, and I think I've only seen it once.
All right, well, Rebecca De Mornay's character is named Peyton in the movie, and she's a badass. She's a psycho. But my dog was a female, and we wanted to name her Peyton after Walter Peyton, but we needed a female reference. So we named her Peyton after Walter and the character in that movie, so we could spell it the way that the character's name spelled it, not like Walter Peyton. So instead of Payton, it was Peyton. And I taught him or her, instead of giving her a treat, I would say stiff arm, and then she'd put her arm up for a treat. So stiff arm like Walter. It's pretty cool.
That's good stuff.
I mean,
thanks.
I have so many things. I have so many things.
What? You got to be creative.
I know you 10 out of 10 on the creativity.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
What was cool is my wife was all in.
Would have thought twice if you had spelt it like Walter Peyton, especially where you live.
Maybe, yeah,
and
probably.
I don't think the gender of the dog would have come into play at all.
Maybe not.
Also, did you ever consider that maybe Peyton identifies as a male?
No, I didn't consider binary.
It's something
stuff
to consider these days. It's 2022, Mike.
Yeah, but this was 1992?
You need to wake up.
1992 when I got her.
That's okay. You can retroactively be woke.
Oh, okay. I forgot. That's a thing.
It's a new thing.
Yeah. Well, you're out there on the woke coast, so.
God, don't remind me.
I should listen to what you say. So,
Did
David,
I tell you about the sexual assault I took a while ago? That was it was a transgender male to female assaulted by a lesbian, and the witness was, I think she referred to it as asexual, like she didn't have or whatever it is for, like, I don't identify as non-binary.
Non-binary.
Yeah. So, and
they witnessed it.
Yes, and that was the pronoun she used, and it drove me absolutely
them
crazy
and they.
because they is plural.
Right.
And she was singular.
Right. And you didn't tell me about that. That's an interesting report.
Because I get a headache every time I talk about it. But it's just to, like, give you the bare bones basic like that, it takes all the brain power I have.
Oh, I bet. I didn't really know much about the non-binary thing until I'm watching Billions on Showtime. Actually watching that on Hulu, but it's a Showtime show. You know, so Damian Lewis, Paul Giamatti, amazing actors in the show. And there's this new employee that comes to work for Damian Lewis, and they, when they introduce themselves, they say, I'm non-binary. My pronouns are they, them, though, whatever. And I had to look her up on IMDb. She's actually the first actress that is non-binary starring in a major role, and that's how they are identified. That's
North America on
Showtime
in this particular time slot.
So listening to the show, they address it in the show, and it's funny because they're like, what the fuck are we supposed to call her? You know, I mean, they're openly talking about it in the script until they finally realize it finally gets to become more natural for them, where they just call the person they and whatever. And it took a while to get used to seeing it, but I haven't met someone yet that is non-binary. So good luck putting that in your report.
Yeah. That was not fun to write.
We get a lot of transgenders and prostitutes and stuff in our town, and some of them have gone through the changes, some aren't, whatever, they're transitioning, and it's a unique experience every time we deal with them, for sure. David, when was the last time you dealt with a transgender prostitute?
I'm pretty much blanking on that one. I'm gonna pull up a zero.
All right, I don't want to leave you out. You know, if you got an experience.
Trying to include me, but I feel like I'm gonna step out on this one.
Okay.
Hey, what fun and exciting thing happened at your work this week? Mike's going to burglaries. I'm going to stabbings that maybe were suicide attempts.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled some wire, we installed some lights. It's pretty basic stuff.
Nice. No one got electrocuted. That's a plus.
That's a plus. Yeah.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
It's usually the goal each day, right?
Every day.
So if you missed what David does, you obviously didn't watch the pre-show. So he's just going to give you a recap real quick. Is that cool, David?
Right. Yeah. So I am a union electrician based out of San Diego. San Diego. I help run a company called Neil Electric, which is a union-based contractor. We do a lot of military, a lot of hospitals, commercial, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been an electrician?
Since I was 19, so
7 years.
Yep. Just turned 30.
Pretty young.
Yeah, so about 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you, man. It's a great trade.
It is. I highly encourage people to get into the trades. If maybe college isn't something you want to do, get in the trades and move on up.
Yeah, I'm a strong proponent of the trades as well. I wish more of our youth would actually get into the trades, because it is a dying career. I mean, one of my best friends, my best friend, Bill, he's a tool and die machinist, and they're struggling just getting machinists in there, you know?
Right.
And I was in the electric company for a long time, and it's hard. Plumbers, electricians, all these guys, it's hard to get people into these fields now for some reason. They pay well, they're great benefits. It's a great thing to learn. I don't know why we don't have more.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that you can get into the trades and start working in an apprenticeship and not have student debt.
Yeah.
No student loan debt. And you're in such high demand, you can basically go up to two companies and go, I want to be paid X amount of dollars an hour, and then create a bidding war between those two.
Yeah.
Because they're hurting that bad for workers.
100%. Yep.
So how long have you been with that company, David?
I've been with Neo Electric for about 3.5 years. So
Okay.
I took on a vice president role at that company, and I've been very happy. It's a bunch of great people, solid guys in the field, so can't complain.
Do you get to do any field work?
No, so part of being in the office is I'm not allowed to install anything based on the union rules. So.
Oh yeah, I guess you're management now, not union.
Yeah, I mean every now and then I'll try to sneak in, throw in something here and there, but I'm not supposed to.
I don't.
Oh.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm going to say thanks for listening, and thank you to our guest, David Miller. I'm honored that you came on the show, and I thank you very much for buying a mic. And apparently, you're going to be on all kinds of podcasts from the story that I heard.
Well,
so,
I'm just keeping my options open.
flow. I go on autopilot. I don't even know what I say.
It's so in tune with you.
It is. I just flow from one to the other to the other. But no, you email the audio file, the little voice memo file, to handcuffs&sawdustpodcast@gmail.com, or you type it out and you send it to Mike over at Morazzo Woodworking or me over at Full House Woodworking, or to the podcast page at Handcuffs and Sawdust Podcast. You could also send it to Nelson at like CWO something or other, but then we'd never see it and you'd never get on that.
That's right.
Sorry, Nelson, I love you.
Shopping on the streets. Peace.
Deuces.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
I can't believe I screwed up the mic.